All right, welcome back to Vold Vibes. I know, kind of funny having vibes in the name of a security podcast, but hey, we like to keep things chill.
Definitely. Got to keep those vibes high, even when we're talking about, critical vulnerabilities.
Exactly. And speaking of critical vulnerabilities, that's what we're diving into today. We've got a pretty serious one, actually. CVE 2025-24016 hitting the Wazuh server. And let me tell you, this one's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, no kidding. A 9.9 on the CVSS scale. We're talking serious business here, especially when you consider how many folks rely on Wazuh, for their threat detection and response.
I mean, you're talking about a widely used platform, and then bam, a vulnerability like this pops up. Got to get ahead of this.
Absolutely. Like you said, our listeners are all security pros, so we're not going to waste time with the basics, right? We're going straight to the core. What does this mean for the threat landscape?
Right, we're skipping Security 101. We don't need to give you guys a MITRE, ATT, and CK refresher because you already know that stuff.
Exactly. Let's just get right into the nitty-gritty.
So, the heart of the matter, this vulnerability, it's an unsafe deserialization issue, and it's lurking in the Wazuh server's API.
And that's a big deal because think about it, anyone with API access could potentially leverage this thing.
Yeah, they managed to compromise, say, a dashboard or maybe even another server in the cluster, or, and this is a little wild, even an agent with the right, or should I say wrong configuration. I mean, that's a lot of potential entry points.
Way too many, really. And I don't know if you saw this, but the advisory actually has a proof of concept exploit. Like they show you how to shut down the master server, which, kind of makes you think.
Right. Is it good that they're being transparent, or is this, handing the keys to the kingdom to less sophisticated attackers?
It's a valid concern, like how much information is too much information. But I gotta say, having that SSE out there also allows defenders to really grasp the severity of this thing and prioritize patching.
Which, speaking of, the advisory is pretty adamant about fixing the root cause. No Band-Aid solutions here.
Right, sanitizing inputs isn't going to cut it. And you know what that tells me? There's a chance there are multiple ways for attackers to, well, to gain that sweet, sweet code execution.
So the first order of business is clear. Upgrade to version 4.9.1 ASAP.
No time to waste.
But let's zoom out a bit. What are the long-term lessons here? How should organizations be thinking about API security? About really hardening their systems to avoid becoming the next victim?
Well, I think this really underscores the need to really scrutinize those API access permissions. It's all about asking the tough questions. Who really needs access? What level of access is absolutely essential? And are we using strong authentication, like multi-factor, for instance?
All critical questions. It's almost like this vulnerability is a wake-up call. We need to be proactive, especially with systems like Wazuh, systems that are so vital to security. We can't just be reacting to every new exploit that pops up, We need to think about secure design, about access control from the ground up.
100%. And I hate to say it, but I think this is a sign of things to come. I wouldn't be surprised if we see attackers focusing more and more on these API vulnerabilities. I mean, think about it. It's a logical target. We might even see, an increase in tools, in techniques designed specifically to target these APIs, especially in platforms like Wazuh that are, so security focused. It's kind of ironic, right?
It is a little ironic, but also a bit scary. But hey, knowledge is power, right? So to all you listeners out there, we'll leave you with a couple of questions. How do you think this vulnerability might influence future attack strategies? What new security measures should we all be thinking about to stay ahead of these threats?
Yeah, and how are you vibing with this new threat?
Let us know your thoughts. Hit us up on social media. Drop a line on the Vuln Vibes forum. Stay safe out there and keep those security vibes high.
Stay vigilant, everyone.
We'll catch you next time.
See ya. Tia EEA.